Mid-year manager self-check-in. Okay, HR said this isn't required, but it's recommended. When I first got it, I thought, I do not have time for this, but I make time for a lot of things. I should be able to make 5 or 10 minutes to go through what I'm doing because I cannot believe it's actually July. Okay. All right, let me go through these questions. 1, how am I showing up? Am I the kind of manager I'd want to work for right now? Well, yes, because I'm doing this and it's a voluntary activity, but am I the kind of manager? I mean, let me see. What's something I've handled well lately? What impact did that have? Okay, so I had been canceling one-on-ones or skipping them, and I felt like I was giving people time back. But in our HR session, they talked about how important it is to make time for your teams and how doing that shows your team you build trust, and it helps you because it allows you to have a time to know what your teams are working on so people aren't chasing each other. So I've been having those one-on-ones. I feel like that's very good. Where have I been short, scattered, or putting things off? So I've had these one-on-ones, but sometimes I go through them and it just feels like a check-the-box exercise. Like one thing they said was to prepare a bit beforehand. I literally haven't done that almost ever. And the times I have been helpful, but I show up and so I just ask like, okay, what's new? And let them talk through, but I do feel like it's kind of a status update. So I'm showing up for teams, but scattered may be right. Okay. Who's doing well or who seems like they are? Who's actually doing well and how do I know? Am I sure or am I assuming that? Okay, well, when I first thought who's doing well, I thought of people, but I don't know that we've had a conversation about it. I think I've just assumed that. Who's been quiet? Could they be stuck or overwhelmed but not saying anything? I do not know. But I know that there's been times that I personally have felt really overwhelmed, but my boss probably thought I was doing well because I wasn't saying anything. Because yeah, when I thought of people, it was literally just assumptions because I haven't heard from them. I'll write them down. Who delivers consistently but might slowly be checking out? Oh my gosh, I do have... Okay, I have a couple people that are delivering consistently. I really hope they're not checking out. So let me write their names because that makes me wonder that. Okay. 3, where am I over-explaining or avoiding? Who am I tiptoeing around instead of being clear? So I have a new person on the team, and during interviews, I feel like it was a totally strong fit, and I'm not sure of that as they've gotten started. But I don't want to assume things or crush their spirits, and so I definitely have not had a very clear conversation, and so I feel like tiptoeing is the right verb there. Where am I over-explaining instead of letting someone figure it out? So one thing is, I know in these HR sessions, they talked about how important it is for managers to make sure we're connecting with team members of what they're doing, like a new specific task and how it impacts the organization. But I feel like over-explaining is right for that because I feel like I'm consistently having that conversation and I'm like spoon-feeding my team. So instead of letting someone figure it out, I wonder if that's a better opportunity to help have someone figure it out because I feel like I'm consistently telling them that and it kind of feels like every time I give a new project, I just say something and it now just feels kind of routine and I'm just saying it. Is my feedback actually helpful or maybe confusing? I mean, same as the above is I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's clear, but I don't know that I've had a conversation asking about that. Okay. Who needs something different from me? Who's ready for more responsibility or could use some visibility? Whew. I mean, I don't know that I've had conversations about more responsibility because I'm worried about burning people out. And so I feel like to the prior part, I've been kind of tiptoeing around that. But could use some visibility. I do feel like there are members of my team who do really well, and I don't know that anyone senior in the organization knows who they are. So I feel like I could probably work on that. Who's burning out but covering it well? Oh my gosh, hopefully nobody. I don't know. This is the same point of I feel like I'm just making a lot of assumptions and not having conversations, and it kind of goes back to those one-on-ones that are like status updates. And I don't know that I've really asked questions that would help me know the answer to that. Okay. Who haven't I truly talked to lately beyond surface updates? Okay, I feel like that is speaking to me from the first question. Probably my whole team. But what am I going to do about that? Hopefully I get the answers here. 5, what do I need to shift in how I lead? What's something I need to stop doing because it's slowing my team down? So I do know one thing is, like, I've had certain team members send me emails to review before they need to get out, and I've been meaning to get on those, but like I'll see them come in and I mean to get back to them, but sometimes it's a couple days later. And so I know that created an issue because something ended up getting late. I just didn't have time to look at it. And I don't want my team to say things the wrong way, and so I feel like they need me to like look through their communications, but it also takes up a lot of my time and slows the whole thing down. What's one habit I want to model better? Okay. Habit. I do think like there have been a lot of conversations this summer about people taking vacation and people being super stressed leading up to vacation or coming back from vacation, and it's just like very stressful. And so I do feel like as a leader, I've played into that a bit, being like, oh, I'd love to take just a nice vacation. And a nice vacation meaning like being able to actually take time off. And so when I say that, it doesn't really help my team. And so I feel like figuring out how to do other things that would make me be able to take a step back from my team, not just on vacation, but like even on a random day or just even when I'm here, but not be so involved, would probably be helpful. What's a conversation I keep putting off that would make everything easier? I mean, one is with this new team member, because they've come aboard and the whole goal was for them to take work off other people's plates, but that hasn't happened because I don't know that I trust what they're doing now. And so if I could probably have clear communications with that team member and figure things out, and that would allow other people to take some work off their plates, and that would definitely make things easier. 6, how am I doing in my career? Okay, I thought this was about being a manager. What do I want to do more of and do less of? I mean, some of it is I feel like I don't have time to manage people because I'm doing so much of the work. So I want to think about that, because there's definitely work that I do that needs to get done. I think it needs to get done. Maybe it doesn't all need to get done, but thinking about how other team members could take that on, or maybe we think of things that we're doing that don't need to get done a little bit. Because I would like to be able to have more time to be able to work with my team and develop them. Am I being clear about what I want, or hoping someone reads my mind? Ooh, guilty of the latter. I definitely think, I think clarity, because sometimes I don't want to micromanage, and so sometimes I'll just give people room, but then I haven't given them key things, like when is this need to be done? Who's going to be reading it? What are things they care about? Like certain things that I can teach people once or a couple times that could help them overall. But I definitely have room for some of that clarity. What's something I keep doing that isn't helping me grow? But I think trying to stay in the work, because some of those people are doing jobs that I had, a job or 2 or 3 jobs ago, and I feel like I really knew it. And so sometimes like I'll jump into that, but that's not helping me grow by staying on something I've done literally 3 jobs ago. And so sometimes it's nice to do tasks that like I just know that I know how to do, but that's just taking more time. And so that's making it harder for me to actually manage and lead my team. What's one thing I'm ready to say out loud, ask for, or let go of? Say out loud. I'm talking out loud to myself as I do this, but I think asking for, part of this is like, I'd love to know my boss's answers to these questions. And so, like, I wonder if my team members, I feel like it would be helpful for my team members to hear me go through this exercise. And maybe if HR has a form that's not as much about management, but things for check-ins for my team. Because as I look at this, I'd love to hear my boss's managers' answers to these. And so I think some of that communication to my team, because it may be helpful for them to hear me go through these thoughts, because they probably think that I have it all figured out, or if I don't know. But I think I'd love to. I don't want to talk to HR to see if we have a form like this for our team members, but also I want to talk to my boss to see their answers to that. But for my team, like a lot of this ties into the thing I said in the first question, which was like one-on-ones. I'm showing up for them, but I'm not really showing up. And so starting with questions, like start having more questions, like questions of, I don't know, I need to think about this. Like, what do you want to do? What are things that you're working on? Like asking these questions that are more open-ended to make those conversations more productive. But also like connecting, like when I give them something, is also, rather than give them a task and me explain, like, this is how it ties to the organization, maybe flipping that and having the employee, like, asking them, like, how do you think this ties into the organization? But probably telling them that, because if I just start asking them, then they're going to wonder, like, what's up? What's happening? So just explaining, this is to help them kind of think strategically and build that up. But so I think those three things. One is, well, I guess two. One, I want to ask my boss to go through theirs and have me go through mine with them. But then also see if I can share this with my team and see if HR has a similar form for team members. But then in one-on-ones, asking more open-ended questions. And then also, instead of just telling people what a new task ties to the organization, asking them and making that a conversation. This was really helpful. If this check-in would be helpful for you, I'm including it in my weekly blog. You can go to managermethod.com/blog and you'll see it under Mid-Year Manager Check-In. Now, I've created this to be able to be done in just about 10 minutes and to help you go through as a manager. And I do think it's a really helpful exercise to go through as a manager, to go through with your own leader, and even to share with your teams, because a lot of this is reflecting about how you've managed through the year and where you want to change anything in management or things that you want to keep doing, but also think about your own career. Everything I do at Manager Method, whether it's tips on social media or my newsletter or the training and resources that we provide to organizations, is all about practical tips to help real change at work, to help you as a manager drive performance, retain employees, be the type of workplace that people want to work at and care about their jobs, but to have ways to actually do that, not just try to go figure it all out yourself.